Marcus pulled out his phone and made a call. "It's done," he said. "Transfer everything." On the other end, his attorney confirmed, "Already in motion." 3 days before the wedding, Marcus had quietly moved all of his personal assets into a trust under his late mother's name. Every account, every property, every investment. Vanessa had planned to access his accounts after the wedding, but there was nothing left to access. The money she thought she was stealing no longer existed in his name. Marcus had outplayed her. He had protected himself, and now Vanessa and her family would face the consequences of their actions. Not just embarrassment, but legal consequences. Marcus had already contacted the authorities. The audio recording was evidence of conspiracy to commit fraud. Vanessa, her parents, and the man from the alley would all be charged with conspiracy to commit fraud and attempted theft. The evidence was overwhelming. The audio recording, text messages, bank statements showing suspicious activity. Marcus had built an airtight case. During the trial, Vanessa tried to claim that she really loved Marcus, that the conversation in the alley had been taken out of context, but the jury didn't believe her. The evidence was too clear. She was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Her parents received 3 years each. Derek received 4 years. Marcus didn't attend the sentencing. He had moved on. In the months that followed, Marcus threw himself into his work. He expanded his business, opened new properties, and invested in community projects. He donated a significant portion of his wealth to organizations that supported single mothers and children in need. In honor of his mother, he also started a foundation called the Truth Foundation, which provided resources and support for people who had been victims of financial fraud and manipulation. Marcus wanted to turn his pain into purpose, and he did. But healing wasn't easy. Trust didn't come back overnight. There were nights when Marcus lay awake, replaying the betrayal in his mind, wondering if he had missed the signs, wondering if he could have done things differently. But then he would remember his mother's words. When you love someone, you stay, you protect them, you honor them. He had protected himself. He had honored the truth. And that was enough. 1 year after the wedding, Marcus received a letter. It was from Vanessa. She was in prison serving her sentence. The letter was long. Pages and pages of apologies, explanations, and regrets. She wrote about how she had been raised to believe that money was the most important thing in life, how her parents had pressured her to find a wealthy man, how she had convinced herself that she was doing the right thing. She wrote that she was sorry, that she had hurt him, that she wished she could go back and change everything. Marcus read the letter once. Then he folded it up and put it in a drawer. He didn't respond, not because he was cruel, but because there was nothing left to say. Vanessa had made her choices. Now she had to live with the consequences. Marcus had made his choices too, and he was at peace with them. 2 years after the wedding, Marcus met someone new. Her name was Claire. She was a teacher at an elementary school. She had no idea who Marcus was when they met. She didn't know about his wealth, his businesses, or his past. They met at a coffee shop. Marcus was sitting alone, reading a book. Claire accidentally bumped into his table, spilling his coffee. She apologized profusely, offering to buy him a new one. Marcus laughed. "It's okay, really." They started talking, and they didn't stop. Claire was different. She was genuine. She talked about her students, her love for teaching, her passion for making a difference in kids' lives. She didn't ask Marcus what he did for a living. She didn't care about his money. She just cared about him. And for the first time in 2 years, Marcus felt hope. They took things slow. Marcus was cautious, protective of his heart, but Claire was patient. She understood that trust takes time. She never pushed. She just showed up, consistently, honestly, lovingly. 3 years after the wedding that never was, Marcus proposed to Claire. He did it simply. No grand gestures, no elaborate plans, just the two of them, sitting on a bench in the park, watching the sunset. "Claire," Marcus said, I never thought I'd trust anyone again, but you've shown me what real love looks like. Will you marry me?" Claire looked at him, tears in her eyes. "Yes," she said. 1,000 times yes. This time, there was no betrayal, no hidden agenda. Just two people who loved each other. They got married 6 months later. A small ceremony, just close friends and family. No grand ballroom, no 300 guests, just love. And Marcus finally understood. His mother had been right all along. When you love someone, you stay, you protect them, you honor them. He had found someone worth staying for, someone worth protecting, someone worth honoring. And this time, it was real.
If this story already has your heart racing, comment, "I'm still watching." Marcus Cole's story is not just about betrayal. It's not just about revenge. It's about truth, about resilience, about the courage to walk away from what's wrong and the wisdom to recognize what's right. When Marcus stood at that altar and pressed play on that audio recorder, he wasn't just exposing Vanessa. He was standing up for himself. He was refusing to be a victim. He was choosing his dignity over his desire to be loved. And that takes strength. It's easy to ignore red flags when you're in love. It's easy to believe what you want to believe. It's easy to trust blindly, to hope desperately, to hold on when you should let go. But Marcus learned something that day in the rain, standing in that alley, listening to the woman he loved plot against him. He learned that love without honesty is not love at all. It's manipulation, it's deception, it's a mask. And masks always fall off eventually. Some people asked Marcus why he went through with the wedding, why he didn't just confront Vanessa privately, why he made it so public. Marcus's answer was simple. Because the truth deserves to be heard. Because her parents were part of it. Because that man was part of it. Because if I had just walked away, they would have found another victim, someone else to manipulate, someone else to deceive. I exposed them not just for me, but for the next person they might have targeted. And that's the power of truth. It doesn't just protect you, it protects others. When you stand up and speak the truth, even when it's painful, even when it's humiliating, you create accountability. You draw a line. You say, "This is not okay, and I will not be silent." Marcus also learned something else. He learned that heartbreak, as painful as it is, can be a gift. It can teach you what you don't want. It can show you what you deserve. It can guide you towards something better. If Marcus had married Vanessa, he would have lived a lie. He would have spent years, maybe decades, with someone who didn't truly love him. He would have missed out on meeting Claire. He would have missed out on real love. So in a way, that betrayal saved him. It hurt him, yes, but it also freed him. The lesson of Marcus Cole's story is this: trust your instincts. If something feels off, pay attention. Don't ignore the signs just because you want the story to have a happy ending. Protect yourself. Don't give access to everything in your life until you're absolutely sure someone is trustworthy. And even then, be wise. Know your worth. You are not a rescuer. You are not a bank account. You are not someone to be used. You are a human being deserving of genuine love, respect, and honesty. Speak the truth, even when it's hard, even when it costs you something, because living in a lie costs you more. And finally, don't let betrayal define you. Marcus could have become bitter. He could have sworn off love forever. He could have built walls so high that no one could ever reach him again. But he didn't. He healed. He grew. He opened his heart again, and he found something real. Because the right person won't require you to lower your standards. The right person will meet you where you are and love you for who you are, not for what you can give them, but for who you are
at your core. Marcus Cole stood outside the Riverside Hotel one last time, 5 years after the wedding that shook the city. The rain was falling again, just like it had that night. But this time, he wasn't alone. Claire stood beside him, holding his hand. "Do you ever think about that day?" she asked. Marcus nodded. "Sometimes, but not with anger anymore. Just gratitude." "Gratitude?" Claire asked, surprised. "Yes," Marcus said, "because if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have learned what I deserved. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't be standing here today, truly happy." Claire smiled. "You're a good man, Marcus Cole." He looked at her. "And you're the woman who helped me believe in love again." They walked away from the hotel, hand in hand, into the rain. And as they did, Marcus thought about his mother, about her words, about her sacrifice, about her love. When you love someone, you stay. You protect them. You honor them. He had found that love. And this time, it was real. So let me ask you, if you were in Marcus's position, what would you have done? Would you have confronted Vanessa privately? Would you have exposed her publicly? Or would you have walked away without saying anything? And do you believe that Marcus did the right thing? Or do you think he went too far? I want to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and tell me how you would have handled this situation. And if this story resonated with you, if it made you think, if it reminded you that truth and dignity matter, then share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because stories like this aren't just entertainment. They're lessons. They're reminders. They're proof that even in our darkest moments, we have the power to choose truth over deception, strength over weakness, and love over fear. Thank you for watching. And remember, subscribe so you never miss our next story, because there's always more to tell, and the truth is always worth hearing.